Sharp came here, coming at you with another episode from ChooseYourRelationships.com off of Love Can't Wait, which you can find on Amazon.com. And somebody sent me an article just before Christmas, and it's about a decline of the white population in America, and it's on the Washington Post. And I'm gonna get into this. The title is as follows: in a third of the U.S., more white people are now dying than being born. I'm gonna read this. In around 1/3 of U.S. states, more white people are now dying than being born. A major shift is expected to continue and has significant implications for government policies. 17 states, home to 121 million people, or roughly 38% of the country's population, had more deaths than births among non-Hispanic whites in 2014, up from just 4 states a decade earlier, according to research released Tuesday by the University of New Hampshire's Carsey School of Public Policy. The trend, which cuts across blue and red states and can be found in both urban and rural areas, is expected to expand to more states in the near future, including Vermont, South Carolina, Tennessee, Oregon. And white natural decrease when births fail to keep up with deaths is due largely to the aging of the baby boom generation and decline in white fertility rates, particularly since the Great Depression. Nationally, the ratio of non-Hispanic white births to death is nearly at par at 1.04 births for every death. The ratio is much higher for minority groups, particularly among Latinos, whose rate is 5.4 births for every death. The ratio for blacks is 1.94 births for every death, and for Asians it is 1.75 births. And these are the 17 states where deaths of whites outnumber births. So you got California. The blue states have more deaths: California, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Maine, Delaware. Okay. And scroll down. What government and politicians need to pay attention to is that it's the younger part of the population that's going to be contributing to the economy, said Bill Frey. All of the growth in the labor force is going to be racial minorities, investing in this next generation in terms of their education and being able to contribute to the labor force and pay into Social Security, Medicare, etc. is going to be to the benefit of that older white population. Okay. It's going to be a long time before the white people aren't a very powerful political force. Still, he said, he was struck by the speed and scope of the increase, particularly in the highly populated states such as California, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. Among the 17 states noted in the study, all but 2, Maine and West Virginia, are seeing more births overall because of growing non-white populations. The Latino population is particularly young, with a median age of 28.4 in 2014, and Latino births exceeded deaths by a large margin in all states in the District of Columbia that year. So basically, this article is written by a white woman, Tara, on the Washington Post. Basically, there's more white women just aren't having a lot of babies, and they choose not to for whatever reason. I don't know. And then you have a lot of deaths among white folks because there's a lot of the drug epidemic is off the hook with heroin and meth, and there's a lot of diversity that plays a part as well as far as relationships. And just like they say, when you see white people full of aggression, especially during the Trump rally, this is where a lot of that aggression stems from, because a lot of white people have a fear of a black, or I guess you could say brown planet or a brown country, and they fear that they're gonna lose control. And if you go get a book called The ISIS Papers on Amazon by Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, she breaks the whole thing down. They have she breaks it down on a scientific level, which makes sense if you really read the book and really think about it. Because now you have a lot of whites that are on mainstream television. They're coming out and talking about the same thing she's been talking about in her book for 30 years. She wrote the book 30 years ago. And a lot of whites are coming on TV openly speaking about how they dislike interracial marriages and interracial relationships, and how it's weakening the white race now. See, 20 years ago, you didn't see anything like that on television. That was almost unheard of. But today, it's pretty much alive and popping. And see, what Trump has done is given a lot of white people sort of a rites of passage. They've given them permission to say what they always wanted to say without any consequences involved. So during his campaign was a demonstration of what a lot of white folks think and how they feel in this country. And a lot of them don't like how things is going. They don't really like how anything has been going on for the past 8 years. Now a lot of them are not going to say that though openly, because this is why a lot of white folks did not want to be associated with Trump. Even though a lot of them feel the same stuff he was openly saying out in the public during the campaign. But however, a lot of those guys that did agree with Trump after he got elected came out and voiced their opinions on a lot of different channels, whether it's Facebook or whether it's on camera. So this is why there's so much backlash against interracial relationships, especially, and let's be clear, when they say interracial relationships, they're talking about black men with white women. They don't care about the rest of the women that black men get with. Now, if a black man get with a Asian woman, they might get a little uncomfortable. But when they get with a white woman, man, the roof is about to blow off the building. That really bothers a lot of white folks. I mean, it bothers some white women, but it really bothers a lot of white guys, because white guys like to try to control white women. I mean, if you go back in history, white women are barely just getting out the house, to be honest. Because back in the day, white women were being oppressed by white guys. This is how the feminist movement came about. And it didn't have anything to do with black women or any other woman. It really had to do with white women and white men, because they always have a rift amongst each other, because white guys still want to keep white women away from black males, especially because they want to maintain order and control, and they want to continuously oppress us, because there's profit in oppression. So you have a lot of white women, like, the Trump supporters, where they say, well, we'll support you, but hey, we don't want to be controlled like that. Then you got the other types, the Hillary supporters, they're hippies. They'll be like, hey, we ain't really down with all that. We want to be able to do what we want without being judged, sleep with who we want to, whether it's man or woman, and just do our own thing. They call them liberals sometimes, right? And then you got the other women that pretty much, they don't want to be a part of none of that shit. They just want to do their own thing and keep it moving. And then you got the other white women that they're brainwashed. They're gonna stay in that house, because what happens is a lot of white women don't really have a lot of privileges. They're not in a position to really take that leap of faith, so to speak. Because what happens is if they get out there and start dating with non-white males, especially black males, and having kids, they know that they're gonna be sort of the black sheep of the community, or the black sheep of the family, especially when they have kids. Because once she breeds with a black male or non-white male, that baby's not gonna be white. And when she's walking around with those kids, a lot of white folks are going to see those kids, and then, they're going to be like, hey, we ain't rocking with you because you're on the other side. You're not down with us. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of white women, once they take that leap of faith, they risk a lot of what they could be missing. They really have to think things out strategically. So whenever you see a white woman dating a black male or Asian guy or Latino, she really thought that shit out in advance. Trust me, because a lot of them don't really have those privileges like you think. This is why a lot of white women would prefer the guy to have money, because a lot of those white people ain't gonna be fucking with her no more. And this is what a lot of these government policies that you see, and a lot of this aggression amongst cops on fucking with us, this is where a lot of this shit comes from. Because a lot of white people feel like they have to maintain power. They have to get things in order. They're trying to go take things the way it used to be. And then you got a certain group of whites want to take things, they want to move things forward. Whatever that is, you know. So, you know, this is why I'm going to predict that you're going to see more government policies on a state and federal level. And it's not going to be in the best interest of black people. Because it never is. And you're going to see more interracial relationships on television as well. I mean, as far as people sleeping with each other, that's been going on since slavery. That is nothing new. You know, that black males and white women and white guys and black women, they're always going to be sleeping together. That's not new. Not new under the sun. But you're going to have more breeding amongst black males and white women. You're going to have more of that. I'm going to predict you're going to have more breeding of babies. And you're going to have more aggression amongst cops. And you're going to have more of a decline with white folks. And white folks are going to be in for a big surprise once Donald Trump takes office, because they're going to find out that all the rhetoric that he was talking about during his campaign, he's not going to be able to deliver on none of that shit. Not even half of it. And that's when things are going to get worse socially in this country. So, if you like what you heard, subscribe to my channel. Check out my blog, chooseyourrelationships.com. And tell me what you think below. I mean, this is something that we have to talk about. Something that you should be aware of, especially if you're out here, if you're a young guy and dating. You have to be aware of your environment. You have to be aware of what's really going on. So leave your comment below, and don't forget to like and share my video. So until next time, I'm out.